So as we work with senior level marketing executives and some more junior level executives that are rising quickly, we see some common misperceptions around salary negotiation. And this is the world we live in, right? So every day I talk to people about compensation, and what you view as confidential information is very common in our world, and we take very seriously keeping it confidential. So ultimately, as you're going through an executive search process, be it with a marketing executive search firm like us, like MarketPro, or whether you're doing it directly with the employer, at some point in time they're going to ask you where you are from a compensation perspective. And it's really a common question. It's a really easy answer. Just tell them where you are. And the reason for that is you want to be very transparent. We don't want to spend a lot of time talking to you and wasting your time. We understand how valuable your time is, and if I've got an opportunity that has a $250,000 base salary and you're already at $300,000, you're probably not going to be interested in that opportunity. So it helps save us time and sets a benchmark for where we are in the process. And it also gives us the ability to know, can we help you grow your career? At the end of the day, that's what we want to do. We want to find top talent for really good companies, and we want to help really good candidates, really good people grow their career and continue on their path, right? So those are our goals. So we find that every once in a while, it's unusual, maybe 5% of the time, 10% of the time, candidates hesitate to share that with us. And they really shouldn't, because we're trying to use it to further the process for both sides. The next question that you'll often get, and that we don't ask yet early in the process, but most executive search firms do, most corporate recruiters do, is, what is it you're looking for to make a change? What is it you're looking for this opportunity? And the reality is we don't ask that question because you don't have enough data yet to effectively answer it. And so when someone asks you that, what I would recommend you do is just say, I'm only looking for what's fair based on the challenges of the role and my experience and the results I've been able to drive historically. And that really leaves you wide open, right? It leaves you the ability to say, the normal 15% bump that comes with relocation may not be enough in this case because the responsibilities of the job are so significant. It leaves you open to say, I'm at a point in my career where money is not the most important thing, and this opportunity is so exciting I may be willing to take a little bit of a step back to go do something that's more meaningful. So what happens is, if you answer the question that is, what is it going to take for this next step, you're going to end up being held to that. Whereas if you leave that open, when you get to real negotiations towards the end of the interview process, you can have much different conversations. Then we get into some common mistakes that we see that may help you learn and grow so you don't make those mistakes yourself. And the first mistake is really simple. It's when we ask you, where are you now currently from a salary perspective and a compensation perspective, we really want to understand what's your base, what's your target bonus, and what is any long-term incentive that you might have. And additionally, how have you been achieving those, right? Has bonus been paid? So ultimately, if you refuse to answer that question, that's your decision, but we're done. We're moving on to other candidates. That's just data that we have to do our process properly. So that's a pretty common mistake, and candidates get, 95% of candidates give us the information we're asking for, and when we walk away, people are very surprised, but there's nothing we can do if you're not willing to share the data. A second common mistake is not really understanding your value, or from a business perspective, what the employer can afford to pay for this role, or what they're willing to pay for this role. So if you are at a base of X and you're looking to get a significant bump, it may or may not be possible, but you've got to understand the business case for why that's possible. And if you're going to come after a significant increase over where you are today, make sure you have the data to support it. So another common misperception or misconception is that someone's going to win and someone is going to lose in this salary negotiation. And the reality is that is way too simple, right? We're building a relationship in this process, and everything that we do, each step along the way, is either putting a strong foundation in place for that relationship or chipping away at that foundation. And so we want to make sure that the day the candidate arrives on the job, they're really excited about their role, they feel like they're being fairly compensated for their skills, background, and experience, and that this is something that's going to take their career to the next level. And from the client perspective, we want them to feel like, wow, we've got a really great talent here, and this person is going to bring us tremendous return on the investment we're making in them, right? We're going to see results that are better than we expected when we outlined this job description when we started this search process. And so within that, we're trying to create a win-win for everybody, which is somewhat of a cliche, but it's actually really true. And if in the negotiation process, anyone walks away 100% happy with the results of the negotiation, we've probably missed something, right? Typically, if the client's about 80% happy, we've stretched them a little bit from a comp perspective and they've stretched to the top of their range and they've gotten a really great, talented person. And so they're going to be thrilled with the results they get. If the candidate is about 80% happy, then they're coming into a role where they've gotten a nice bump up from where they used to be, and they're going to be able to jump in and really hit the ground running. But if I get the candidate to the point where they're 100% happy, the client feels like they've overpaid, now those expectations change, right? I come into a role where, hey, they talked about results that were X in the interview process, now they're X plus 10. Well, they're X plus 10 because you overplayed your hand in the negotiation process, but they didn't want to go back to the beginning of the search.